I wanted to talk about how I quit my job and became a metaphysician. So maybe it will inspire somebody else or help somebody else. So let's talk about it. I worked at the post office for 22 years.
Wow.
Now I was a letter carrier for 13 years. I want to always remind y'all that you are always in your purpose. This is what I tell people all the time. That you're always already in your purpose or on your way to it somehow. I'm going to give you the first example. So my metaphysical gift or my spiritual gift is clairaudience and word magic. And remember, I just said that I was a letter carrier for 13 years. So that means that the universe was always telling me that I was a letter carrier. The universe was always telling me that I had something here on earth to do that had to do with me carrying letters. That I was already on my way to do something that had to do with letters, words, carrying letters around. Even one of the things that I had to do to become a letter carrier is I had to remember addresses. Like you had to take a test at the post office to be able to actually remember, or they would test your memory to see if you could remember where you saw addresses at in this gigantic cubicle. Okay, so let's get back to the story that I worked at the post office for 22 years. I was a letter carrier for 13 years. I want you to remember that the 1 and 3 is I am. 13, I just did that in like my last TikTok video. I showed you how the symbols for 1 and 3 is also the symbols for I am. So me being a letter carrier for 13 years, that confirmed that I had something else to do that had something to do with me carrying letters. Okay. So then after that, I became a sales rep for the post office. And my job was to help companies use direct mail. So even though I wasn't a letter carrier anymore, I was still helping people learn how to use the mail. I was still helping people learn how to use letters. I was still helping people learn how to use words. Okay? Now, what wound up happening was when I started researching my own name and I broke down my own name, I learned that my name literally says to do well in language or to do well as a speaker. MC is a speaker, right? My name has MC on the front of it. My name also means to be able to see hidden names because the word Shem in Misha in the Hebrew language means name. And then the word Kim, my name is Kamisha, by the way, for people who like, well, what the hell is your name, girl? My name is Kimisha. Here, let me show you. Because I was actually about to do a TikTok on this, but I changed my mind. So this is my name. Okay? Kimesha. The Shem in there in the Hebrew language means name. The Kim, Kim, means black or darkness, like as in Kemet. If you know anything about Kemet, you know Kemet means like the black land or the dark land or something along that nature. So anything that got to do with things being black or dark, it means that it has something to do with hidden things. So therefore, the Kim part of my name means hidden or blackness or darkness. And then the Mesh part or the Misha part of my name means name. So my name literally means a hidden name. And then my last name means to do well. Okay, so I'm moving forward on how I became a metaphysician. When I started to realize that I had this gift of understanding words and letters and symbols, I started feeling very heavy at my job. And it's funny that Gigi is on here. I don't know if she's still on here, but she was the one I used to get on the phone and cry to all the time. Gigi, I do not want to work here no more. Gigi, I hate this. I used to sit in the parking lot and cry, okay? It was to the point where my manager noticed that my sales, I wasn't making my sales. I really had went into a depression because I just felt so boxed in. I realized that I was just in this, I started to feel oppressed and depressed, and I used to go sit at my cubicle every day and just daydream, and I would just sit there and be thinking about all the other things that I would rather be doing. By the time 2018 came around, I was like, I can't do this. So I finally went to my manager. Well, actually, my manager came to me because I was not hitting my sales goals, and I was always good at my job. And he was just like, "What's up? What's going on?" And I was like, "I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something bigger and better." Like I said, at this point, I already had a social media following. I was already starting to teach classes on metaphysics online. I had just launched Self-Realization of a Goddess, which is a 13-week course that I do online with women. Was at the very beginning of me starting to travel. Like, I had just launched that. And I remember talking to Gigi, and I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to quit like in another year or two. She was like, girl, you ain't going to last no another year. I was like, why you say that? She was like, I could tell. So when I went to my manager, or rather he went to me, when I told him that I was crying, and he was just like, you need to take a leave of absence. Which I was very grateful for that, because he was a very caring manager. So that's what I did. Now, if anybody's familiar with the post office have banging benefits, okay? So you know how long I was out? I was out on depression. I ate up all my sick leave, y'all. I had like 3 months of sick leave. I ate up the longest that you could stay out for FMLA, that's how long I stayed out. And by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, I had made my mind up, but not without the help of the universe. Not without the help of God, okay? I'm going to tell you what happened that made me say, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to go ahead on and quit my job. Is I had 2 dreams, okay? The first dream that I had, it was me arguing with myself. It was me and another me arguing, and I was crying, and I was saying, I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to keep doing this. And my other self was like, well, then bitch, don't. Like, what's the problem? Like, what are you afraid of? So I feel like my higher self was like, well, then don't. You know? And when I woke up from that dream, like I said, I have clear audience. It's not as strong as it used to be, but when I was waking up, I heard, can you live off $1,000? God. I was like, no, I can't live off $1,000. Can you live off $1,000 a month? That was exactly what I heard. Can you live off $1,000 a month? Can I live off $1,000 a month? I've been at the post office for 22 years. You know how much money I was making? I'm like, I don't want to live off $1,000 a month. But this is where your faith is supposed to come in there. So if anybody listening to this and they're thinking about quitting their job to pursue their, whatever they feel like their I am is, this is where your faith is supposed to come in at. Okay? So moving forward, that wasn't enough evidence for me to have this dream to tell me to just go ahead on and quit, and then basically the universe confirming that, well, you're going to at least be getting $1,000 a month, which, trust me, I've been plenty taken care of. I've definitely made more than $1,000 a month. I'm very grateful. Thank you to the universe. Thank you to my higher self for guiding me, for inspiring me, for encouraging me, for taking care of me, I haven't missed a meal or a bill. Okay? So I definitely got more than that. But don't mean I wasn't scared. Like, of course. And still am. And I still do battle with that. Because I've only quit my job only 3 years ago, 2018, 1921. You might say 4 years. Okay? So, like I said, getting back to the story. So that wasn't enough for me to have this dream. You know, I like, you know how you be like, universe, show me one more sign. Let me see one more sign. So that's what I said. I said, show me something else. And then I'll quit. So what happened was, I went to go get my hair done that day. And when I walked into the hair salon, my hairdresser was like, dang, the first word she said to me, she was like, damn, I knew I should have listened to that dream. I was like, what dream? She said, I had a dream that told me that I needed to get a different, what did she need to get? A different insurance on her house. She was like, somebody told me in my dream that I needed to get a different house insurance, homeowner's policy. And she was like, and I never got it. And guess what happened? The pipes in front of her house burst and her insurance didn't cover it. So she had to come out of her pocket like 5 G's to pay for that. But she was told in a dream to get different insurance. And I was sitting there like, this is my sign, right? The way I interpreted was that Spirit was telling me, listen, if you don't quit, this is what's going to happen. Like, you know how like sometimes we let our fears get in the way of us actually following our dreams, right? But in this sense, like it was like Spirit was saying, you need to be scared of what's going to happen if you don't quit. Right? Because that's what her dream was. Her dream was, if you don't listen to this, it's going to be even worse. So it was on from there. I was like, oh, okay, word. I felt like that was my sign. I felt like that was my sign saying, girl, if you don't quit, then you're going to get an ass whooping from Spirit. You're going to hire self somebody, you're going to get a beat down, okay? So that happened on a Friday. So when I say I had 2 signs, what I mean is that I had the dream that told me to go ahead on and quit. And then I had my clear audience ask me, could I survive off $1,000 a month? So when I went back to work on that Monday, all I know is when I went, that dream was on a Friday. And when I went back to work on Monday, I told my manager, I'm done. I'm putting in my leave of absence. I'm giving my 2 weeks notice right now. Right now. And he gave me some encouraging words, and he was like, you know, I'm looking forward to see what you do. He knew what I did. He knew that I taught metaphysics, the law of the universe. That was another thing that made me be like, you have to quit. Like, do you have a choice? Because how are you going to teach the law of attraction and manifestation and universal law and the law of I am, and that you can create your own reality, but yet you sitting here at a cubicle every day? Getting up, coming to this job, crying, sitting in the car. Like, the math ain't mathing. The math is not mathing. So either I had to quit or I had to stop talking shit. Or I had to stop talking about this law that works. So I quit, right? So when I quit my job, mind you, like I said, I already had a social media following. You know, I was already doing one-on-one counseling sessions. I was already doing a gazoo of name interpretations. So by the way, you can book one. You can the link is in the bio. When you click on services, it'll take you to the page for different types of name interpretations that I do. So that's why I felt somewhat secure to quit my job, because I was already making income from me being a metaphysician, from me being known for the gift that I have, which is word magic. Okay. Now the other thing was that this is for the people who are thinking about quitting their job. I did sit down and look at my finances, y'all. I wasn't just like, well, that'll do it. So I did sit down and look at my finances. At this point in time, I own 3 properties too. So I had other supplemental income coming in, y'all. I wasn't just like, I'm going to just quit and I'm going to just wing it and figure it out. Like, I did have some other sort of income coming in, right? So I had my rental properties coming in. At the time I was engaged, right? My fiance, we lived together. So I had help with, you know, my everyday finances in the house. I was set up in a pretty good way. And by me working at the post office for 22 years, I had a pretty decent nest egg if I wanted to, even though I know I shouldn't and I don't plan on like going into my retirement fund. Because I know the IRS going to be like, we're going to take a whole whop of that if you touch that. So, you know, I try not to even think about touching that. But I did know that in the back of my mind that if it got really hard, I had somewhere to tap into, you know. So those things made me feel secure. But that was how I quit my job. Now, after I quit my job, I enrolled in University of Metaphysics, which is located in Sedona, Arizona. But they do have an online school, right? Now, mind you, like I said, I was already teaching metaphysics when I enrolled to get I have a master's degree in metaphysics. But here's the reason why I did that. Even though I was already teaching it, I did it because I understand how Google works. I understand how, what you call it, like accreditation. Am I using that word right? I don't know if I'm using that word right. But, or like expertise. So like by me having a actual master's degree in metaphysics, Google will rank me somewhat higher. Like right now, I just wrote a blog, like, I don't know, a month ago. If you go on my website, my latest blog is Metaphysical Christianity Bullshit. That's the last blog that I wrote. That blog is already on the second page of Google. And I partially believe that some of that is because, not because I claim to be a professional metaphysician, but because my name and my website is also on the University of Metaphysics website, which they are a high-ranking school for metaphysics. So when you do stuff like that, see, sometimes I know people be like, you don't need the white man paperwork and da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I understand all that. But I do also understand how credentials do have an impact in this 3D physical realm. Credentials have an impact. Don't let nobody tell you that they don't. Because I know for sure that that's partially why my website ranks like. Google Metaphysical Christianity and see if you see the Blackfire Nation blog about metaphysical Christianity. See if you see it. See if it's on the second page for you. Okay? So, that was the reason why I got it, because I understood the power of credentials. But by me having the credentials as a master of metaphysics, right, and having a master's degree in metaphysics that's documented on the University of Metaphysics website, that helps. Okay, I know that video ended pretty abruptly, but I wanted to add on another part. And the other part is just re-emphasizing what needs to take place before you decide to quit your job, in my opinion. Number one, of course, you need to know yourself. You need to know, what do you want to do? This is a hard question for a lot of people. What do you want to do? What do you want to give the world? Okay, that's number one. Number two, you have to have faith. You have to have faith like you've never seen it before. Okay, you have to have faith in the unseen, faith in the unknown, faith in the signs and symbols that's happening around you. So you also have to pay attention to things that are being said to you in the external realm and things that are being said to you internally when you dream. I'm putting an exclamation point on pay attention to your dreams. And then number four, I think this is number four. Number four, you do have to have some type of, you just have to be practical in some sense, okay? You should have some type of emergency fund or some type of savings plan, okay? Some people, they don't want to work their regular job and also work the thing that they want to do, but that's exactly what I did, and that's how I built up an audience before I quit my job. So you want to make sure that you have all these things in place, and I wish nothing but peace and prosperity and love to you.